part one of what was to be a two-part video on creating Rush videos, I talked about how to put together your assets, your script, and get ready to create your Rush video. And then in two, I'm going to show you how to actually create the Rush video. But I realized I probably need a part 1A that talks about how to use Photoshop to get your images ready to go into Rush. So I need to create these trimmed down hummingbirds. I'd like to put an annas with a broad bill. So I'll go ahead and open up the annas, and I'm going to use a wonderful tool in Photoshop called the Object Selection tool. Now I already have it selected, so that's why this dialog box is up. But if I didn't, I would just hold down my mouse and select Object Selection. I'm then going to select an area, and Photoshop will find basically the edges of the object. And so what I need to do now is to remove the background. That's very easy. I just go to Select Inverse. So I'm going to change the selection from the bird to the background, and I'll press Delete. I now just have to do this for the broad bill. Here's the broad bill selected, and you'll notice it's not quite perfect. I'm going to miss a little bit of his beak, his or her beak, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm just going to go ahead and trim the background off of this one. Now I'm ready to create a new slide. To do that, I'll go to File, New, and I'm going to use a custom width and height. And for width, I'll select 1920. For height, 1084. And this is just a standard ratio for video. I'll leave it at 300 and click Create. Here's my blank slide. So this is 1920 pixels wide. And if I go back and look at my broad bill and go to Image and Image Size, I'll see that this image is a bit wider. So the first thing I'm going to do is to trim this down by using the Selection tool. And I did that a little quick. The Selection tool's right there. I just select the area I want, go to Image and Crop. Then I'm going to go to Image, Image Size, and shrink this down to, let's say, 1000. And this is just a guess from having done this a while. So there's my first Hummer. I'll go to my Selection tool, select the bird, edit and copy. I could, of course, use the keyboard shortcuts. And I'll go over and edit and paste. So we're still a little big. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Scale, and scale it down a little bit. And I'm going to notice that my width is about 4 inches. Not going to be perfect, but that's okay. Can slide her over here. And Photoshop will help me align it vertically here. That's that purple line. So I'll go get the other Hummer. So here are my two hummingbirds. They're approximately the same size. I actually should probably go check, see if that's anatomically correct, but I'm not going to worry about it. Now I'd like to add some text. So I'll use the Text tool. Click here. And enter my text. I'll hold down the Command key, I believe it's Control on a PC, slide it over, and you'll see that Photoshop is helping me align it with that purple line. And there we go. I'll press Enter. There's my text. Now Rush does have a lot of nice tools for adding text, but sometimes I find it's just easier to do it in the slide itself. So I would go ahead and save this. Rush can import both PSD, which is a Photoshop, but I often will save these as JPEGs and import them as a JPEG. So that's all you need to do to create a slide to go into Rush.